What's up, you guys? I'm Dan. This is Frugal Not Cheap. American Express has refreshed its flagship Platinum credit card for the first time since 2021. The annual fee has gone up quite sharply, from just under $700 to just under $900. Is it worth it? Hey guys, so let's take a look at the American Express Platinum card and see if it's worth its new price tag of $900 a year. As with many of my credit card reviews, there is a spreadsheet that you can download your own copy and then tweak the numbers in order to check and see how this card performs based on your particular spending and your particular discount rate for each of the different credits and factors. That's available at the resources link in the description of the video, really in the description of all of my videos, and the particular spreadsheet is called American Express Platinum 2025 Refresh. So I guess we should quickly set the stage, but most of you should be very familiar with this card. It is a premium travel card, competes with things like the Chase Sapphire Reserve, I think also the Capital One Venture X. The new Citi Strata Elite card is also up there as well, which looks like a solid card, and I've done reviews on all these cards in the past, so you can check them out. In any case, that means that you get cash back or points back or whatever. You can earn multipliers on your spend for travel or related categories with these cards. You also get access to airport lounges. That's a big perk. There's nice travel protections and whatnot as well. But then they also have partnered up with different companies in order to provide credits in order to try to help justify that annual fee in a way that also is profitable for the credit card company, hopefully. If you've watched my previous videos about the American Express Platinum or my more recent review of the refreshed Chase Sapphire Reserve, you'll see that I, in particular, am not that happy with the direction that these companies are going in terms of increasing the annual fee and then increasing the size of the coupon book. So I just find it's, there's just a whole lot of credits and it's a lot to manage and try to keep track of in order to make sure that you get good value out of the card. And how much trouble that is, how difficult it is to do that, will of course depend upon your personal situation and spending. In any event, let's go through the different credits here and see if we can get up to where we're justifying this annual fee of just under $900. So first up, we've got a hotel credit, and this went up significantly from previously. It is now up to $600 a year. It is, however, split up, and this is going to be a theme as we look at many of the credits, where you get $300 every 6 months. On the plus side, there are over 3,000 properties available, so that's pretty great. If you book from the hotel collection, which I think has more sort of lower-end hotels and kind of a lot more flexibility for you, there is a requirement for a 2-night stay minimum. But it looks like if you book from the fine hotels and resorts collection, then you're going to be able to book just a single night, I believe. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments, but that's what it looks like. And I do think that this credit is quite useful for many people that travel a lot, which is of course the target demographic for the card, especially if you like to do some higher end travel, which again is also the target demographic for that card. For myself, however, I don't really tend to do all that much in terms of hotel spend, and then also I don't really like my options being limited, so I'm going to value this at 50%, but that's still $300 and is eaten away about 1/3 into the annual fee. Next, we've got a $400 Resi dining credit. This could be great if the restaurants that are in their network are available to you in places that you normally go. I guess one thing to kind of put out there right now is that it can be easy to modify our behavior in order to make these credits make sense for us. However, ideally, they would be very close substitutes, if not exactly what we're already spending on, so that we're actually not having to increase our spending or change our behavior all that much in order to get value. That would really make the most sense. So that's something to think about, certainly. In any case, I do like to eat out, so it would have been great if I could use this Resi dining credit, but I'm living in Bangkok, Thailand, and so that means that there is no Resi out here and I can't take advantage of it. They do have some international cities. There's Hong Kong and Tokyo, but these aren't cities that I travel to all that often. I tend to go through Osaka more often because my mother lives near there. And then even if you do live in a city that's covered, it's a little bit annoying that this is broken up into 4 tranches, so you get a quarterly $100 of your credit. So that's also a little bit annoying. You can't get like a $200 or $300 meal, which you might do if you're, like a couple or something like that. Anyway, so I think many people could get value of this, especially the target demographic, which is people that live in larger US cities. So actually there's a pretty good selection in DFW as well. So that's pretty good. Obviously New York and LA and all that kind of thing. But for me, that's going to be a 0, and this will be a theme. So, well, basically because it's a little bit weird for me to be looking, reviewing a US-based credit card when living in Thailand. However, some of these cards are a little bit more friendly to expats. So yeah, just keep in mind that while I'm going to say that this particular credit doesn't apply to me, obviously it applies to their target demographic, and that could be you. So don't read too much into that. More about running the numbers yourself, given the spreadsheet. Just download a copy, see if it makes sense for you, or even just keep a mental tally as we go through each of the credits. Okay, next we've got $200 in airline incidental fees. This can be things like refreshments and food on board, luggage fees, that kind of thing. Unfortunately, it doesn't go for upgrades nor the actual fare itself. Supposedly there's ways to do kind of a bank shot in order to cover stuff. However, I'm not really that interested in situations where you have to do sort of a bank shot, and that loophole per se, or the gray area, could be closed in the future at some point, although it seems like this has been pretty stable for some time. In any case, I'm going to be conservative and value that at 0, but that may well be worth something to you. Next, we've got $200 a year in Uber Cash. So this can be for rides with Uber, also for Uber Eats as well. This could be great, except again, it's broken up a lot. So you get $15 a month every month except December, where you get $35. So that's kind of nice to get that in December. That's a useful month. For the other ones, it's kind of a pain to have just that $15 to spend. However, if you are living in one of the major cities, and especially if you don't drive, this could be very, very easy to get value out of. So this could be great. We don't have an Uber presence out here in Thailand. Grab acquired all of Uber, or I don't know, took over from Uber out here. I don't really know how it worked out, but anyway, so yeah, we don't have Uber in Thailand. Then we've got Uber One, so they'll reimburse your membership. This is $10 a month, $9.99 a month. The membership includes $0 delivery fees, 6% sort of credit back on your purchases, and also automatic surge savings, amongst other benefits. So, this would be free if you have the card, essentially, and so certainly worthwhile, especially for those that are already getting value from the Uber credit as well. It goes very nicely together. Now, we've got a $300 annual credit for Equinox. Equinox is a premium gym membership. It can also go towards Equinox Plus, which is the on-demand app, but I can't see an app ever being worth $300 a year for, yeah, anyway, I don't think so. And the actual membership can vary between $200 to as much as $400 a month, depending on the location, sort of the access level that you sign up for. So basically, the credit from Amex is not even 2 months worth of that. Pretty pricey thing. So if you happen to already be an Equinox member or enjoy gyms at this price level, then this credit is for you. For someone like me that wants to use the free gym in the condo, again, this is going to be 0. And anyway, there is no Equinox in Bangkok. Now we've got a Saks Fifth Avenue credit. This is it's $50 from January through June, and then another $50 from July through December. So depending on the timing of when you sign up, you might even get $150 in credit in your first year. Again, it is annoying that it's broken up into $50 tranches. And then, I don't know if everyone necessarily likes to shop at Saks. I bought a couple of items which they had a higher polyester content than I normally buy, but they did last a while. They did look good. I was really happy with those purchases. But still, I think I'm going to value this at 25% of face value. Next, we've got a new one, and this is $300 in Lululemon credit. So we all associate this with yoga pants, but obviously they have a larger selection. They even have stuff for guys as well. Unfortunately, it is again broken up into quarterly installments of $75. Still, they make good stuff, so if you do buy the kind of items that they sell, it seems like a pretty easy way to get value. But again, it's in a sense, it's like, do I really spend $300 on activewear every single year? I don't know, not me, maybe you do. So that's something to consider. For me personally, again, I can't value this at any more than 25%. Another new credit that we get is the Oura Ring credit. This is $200 towards buying new hardware, so the actual Oura Ring itself, and not towards the monthly subscription. That monthly subscription, by the way, will run $5.99 a month or just under $70, $69.99 per year. So that's pretty expensive just to sort of support a fitness tracker when there are many that don't have a monthly subscription, but maybe the benefits are worth it for you. The device, though, costs $349 for the latest generation as of this filming, so that means the $200 credit covers a little more than half, but not the full device, which is pretty expensive. This is a complete no-go for me. I evaluate it 0, but if you love the product, then it could make sense, or if, I don't know. I know there are a lot of people that do love this product and use it. Next, we've got TSA PreCheck. This is an old stalwart credit amongst these premium travel cards. It's $120 for the 5-year global entry. I think this is something that's nice to have, but not a must, so I'll value it at 50%. Then we've got a Clear Plus membership. That's $209 a year, so pretty good value if this makes sense for you, if you're an airport that has Clear and you use it a lot. Personally, I had it for a year, never even used it, so not worth anything to me. Well, we should give it some value just on the off chance, so I'll value it at 10%. Then we've got Walmart Plus, and man, you can see the coupon list is just getting longer and longer and longer, and there's so many different things to kind of keep an eye on. Some of them, if they're subscriptions, we don't really have to think about it too much, like it'll just get reimbursed, like the Uber One, and also this Walmart Plus, but I still think it is kind of quite a pain in order to put all this effort in order to get value. In any event, Walmart Plus is $12.95 a month. That comes out to $155.40 a year. I think many people in the US could get some value out of that. I don't know if it's full face value. But of course, for me, again, in Bangkok, there is no Walmart, so that's another goose egg. Then we've got digital entertainment. This is $300 a year. But again, it's broken up into 12 installments of $25 a month. That's not that annoying, as most of the streaming services are not going to cost $25 a month. So not so bad. The selection's okay. You've got Paramount Plus. You've got YouTube Premium, which is cool. YouTube TV as well. Peacock, Disney Plus Bundle or whatever. ESPN Plus, Hulu, the Wall Street Journal, and the New York Times. But you may have noticed that missing are some of the big names like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and then also HBO. So it's really a shame that those are not available. And then even Hulu, which I might potentially want to watch, is not available in Bangkok, even with a VPN. Really hard to do. It's the whole, cable thing. Anyway, regional, whatever, licenses. But again, if you're based in the States, then this could certainly be worthwhile for you. But again, it is a shame that it doesn't have some of the other big names in streaming. And so, that's kind of a big knock on it. Finally, we've also got lounge access, and Amex is really, really good at this. So of course, they have their own Centurion lounges. You've also got International American Express lounges. And you've even got Delta Sky Clubs. That is when you're flying Delta. As well as lounges within the Plaza Premium, Escape, and Airspace networks. On top of that, of course, you also get Priority Pass Select. So I value this at about $250 a year, but you, of course, may value this higher, especially if you travel very frequently. So I don't know, this is a pretty strong one for the card, I would say. In total, all of these credits are worth over $3,400 in face value, but their actual discounted value to me is actually just about $758. So that's not enough to make up the $895 annual fee. Now again, I'm not their target demographic. I'm not even living in the US, and then I'm also not a big spender like them, and I'm not doing all the luxury travel. So, your mileage may vary significantly. However, we didn't do too bad, I guess, and we're also not done because we can also earn some points on our spend in order to get a little bit more value out of the card. Before we go over that part though, let's look at some other perks that I haven't sort of put a value on, but they're good to know about. So you do, of course, get some travel-related protections. You get primary CDW on rental cars. You also get some trip delay insurance and trip cancellation and interruption insurance as well. It was interesting to me that they're underwritten by a New Hampshire insurance company, seeing as I lived in New Hampshire for a little over 12 years. You also, and this will be a good perk for those of you that travel a whole lot, get status with some hotels. So you get Marriott Bonvoy Gold status. Sorry, that's Marriott Bonvoy Gold. That's Marriott Bonvoy Gold Elite status. And then you also get Hilton Honors Gold status as well. On top of that, I hadn't heard of this one before, but there's the Leaders Club Sterling status from the leading hotels of the world. I don't know, whatever that is. which can amount to 5 pre-arrival upgrades. So that sounds pretty nice if you were to travel to those particular properties. Then we've got some really good protections as well in our purchases. You've got return protection, cell phone protection if you put your cell phone bill on the card, purchase protection, and an extended warranty. These are very generous and some of the best in the game. All right, now let's go back to seeing if we get, monetary value or whatever perceived value out of the card. I'm of course a lower spender, so I expect I might spend maybe $1,200 on combined flights and hotels in a year. Obviously, yours might be much, much higher. You'll get a whole lot more points back. We get 5% back on that spend. So that's $60, which I'll value at face value. And then again here, if you were to transfer to airline partners, you could of course get outsized value, more than 1-to-1 over there, but I generally don't like to mess with that. I just like to keep things simple. You also get 1% cash back on everything else, or points back on everything else. For me, it's about $13,000 that I could conceivably spend in Thailand, given their low acceptance rate here. So that would be another $130 again at face value, but your numbers might be very different. So that brings the total potential value for me up to $3,628. But the discounted value, the value I actually perceive, is under $950 at just around $948. Net of fees, that does put us in the black, but barely so at about $53. And it would be very easy for me to get $53 or more in value from other credit card strategies, such as the Capital One Duo, which is still my favorite. Now, I think probably a broken record, but again, I just want to say this is no surprise given that I'm not the target customer at all, but you might be, so this could be a slam dunk for you, I don't know. Feel free to download the sheet, plug in your own numbers, and see if it works great for you. One final note is that even if the numbers aren't a total slam dunk, if you've never had one of these cards before, there is at the time of filming a relatively generous bonus offer, welcome offer. If we spend $8,000 within the first 6 months, then we can earn up to 175,000 membership rewards points, which is quite significant. However, they have gotten pretty strict about that, or maybe they always have been, but in any case, they say that if you've had the card or a previous variant of the card in the past, so like I had the Schwab version of the Amex Platinum card, then that might make me not eligible. Additionally, just the cardholder history with American Express can make one ineligible for the bonus, and for me, seeing as I got the Amex Gold card and canceled it right after the annual fee hit in order to not absorb the annual fee, and then did the same thing with the Schwab Amex Platinum, I'm probably not like in their super good graces. I don't know. But the nice thing is though that they will let you know if you're not eligible for the welcome bonus, in which case you can then withdraw your application. So that's it. I think this card could be great for some people, but for people like me, I just don't like this coupon, ever increasing coupon book strategy that they're doing. So definitely not the card for me. I'm going to stick with the Capital One Duo. Hope you enjoyed today's video and found it helpful. If you did, please hit the like button, consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.